Hello and welcome to the regular Friday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID, Tottenham Till I Die. We've got a few things to talk about tonight. I mean, we will talk about transfer rumours and we will talk about the West Ham game coming up. There's a few bits of news we're going to start with first and foremost. But before I start, introduce a regular friend and regular guest of the show. How are you, Alan?
Doing well. Ready for another game of footy tomorrow. Very excited about that. I said that there would be 3 incomings, and so far in this window, and so far we've got 2. So that's I think people thought that 2 was ambitious.
Well, 2 is the most we've ever done in January, but we're going to do more.
Yeah.
But we will get on to that. I mean, for those of you, get over to Alan at Team Tottenham Go. Actually, remember to get the links up for him and Steve, who should be joining us later. Perhaps James will join us as well. We'll see. If not, we'll just run with the 2 of us. So, how's the weather in California? Because it's cold here in North London, right?
Oh, we're going through a heat spell. So, where it's 82 degrees here, wow. Fahrenheit. How many Celsius? So that is roughly 28. It's 28 here.
That's what we get in our summer max, right? So that's when it's not raining, of course. I mean, normally in England we get 3 months of winter and 9 months bad weather. Oh. And apparently this year summer's on a Tuesday, right? So we've been told, right? Yeah. So okay. The frivolity's out of the way. We'll get on to where was I? I was on. Okay. Let's start with this. For those of you that don't know, I mean, there is a protest tomorrow. The meet is outside the Corner Pin, which is the Beavertown pub, which is dead opposite the Spurs shop. So if those of you who are going need to know where to go, just meet there. It's at 2:00. Billy T's been doing his promotion on various podcasts. See him yesterday. I was watching Luke Samuels. He was on Luke Samuels with Connor. They've both formed a new group together. So get over and join their group. I haven't got the link here. So basically, he answered the question, which I think was in some Spurs fans' minds, actually, about why do a protest in the middle of a transfer window. And he came up with a good reply. Actually, he said to hold Enix's feet to the fire during the window, put more pressure on them. So I'm all for that. I'm all for holding Enix's feet to the fire, especially in this window. We don't want promises. Oh, we couldn't get what we got, so we'll go in the summer window. We want at least one more major first team upgrade in this window, and possibly 2 is what I've posted. So
yeah.
Alan, what's your take on the protest?
I think it's great. I think that and it's deserved. The club as a whole has not been as forthcoming as they led us to believe they were going to be. And it felt like more of just the same, nameless people coming in nameless roles, and it seems like they're adding layers of bureaucracy. People are suddenly, after, was it 3 years or something like that, Fabio Paratici comes back just to leave, like almost right away. And I think people could have expected that if he was going to have to split a job role with Johan Lange. I think that it was set up to fail to begin with. And they're questions that need to be answered, not just on the business side like that, but in the team. We have a lot of injuries. It seems like every game we get someone leaving on a long-term injury. And that, to me, that's a problem with our medical team. And it could be how they're training. I don't know, or their lack of training from what I've heard rumor of. Because we've been accused of not working hard enough off the pitch, I think. So I think this is a very good opportunity, as was, Billy was saying it, to kind of get together during this window, keep their feet to the fire to make sure that they make good on the promises that Daniel Levy made. They want to perform at the highest level. They promised, they said that this is our ambition, is to compete with those like at Man City, Arsenal, clubs like that. They Liverpool, they want to be up there and, competing for trophies. It's going to take more. It's going to take a lot more. You have Mark Gahey, who transfers for 20 million, but has like a 300,000 pound a week salary, and there's no way, on one hand, 20 million is for a Mark Gahey is definitely something Spurs would be up for, because that's a steal for a team captain. But 300K a week, there's no way we're paying that. We didn't pay that to Harry Kane.
No, I think we're in the 250 max bracket, unless you give a player a big signing on fee, because you don't want word going around the rest of your squad that this guy's on 200, 250K a week. So if you give him a big signing on fee, you can say, well, he's on a lesser wage, you know what I mean, over his contract. I think there are ways around it, but I think we're in a position to do that. But let's be fair, right? ENIC have come in with the promises, but, and this is a big but, Levy was the front man for ENIC. They still owned 70% of this football club while he was in charge. And Pochettino wasn't backed in 518 days in the window.
It was awful.
And he was sacked in that November, part of the way through the season.
Yeah.
Right? And then we got Ndombele in, and actually Lo Celso was signed under Mourinho because he liked the player, right? But it didn't work out. I liked the player actually, but it didn't work out, So ENIC now have made promises to pump money into this club. Oh yeah, and Frank sort of, if we can't get no excuses. If there isn't time, make time. That's what my boss would say to me when I used to run jobs. I couldn't go to my bosses with excuses. It'd be make time, do the job. You know what I mean? So that was it. So you just didn't bother. Basically, you didn't go to your bosses with anything. so any complaints or whatever. So yeah. But admittedly, we have failed better in the transfer market. I mean, disappointing Paratici, to me, he's cutting and running. He was given a chance to get another job after his court cases, and now he's shut off. Yep. I don't care if he says it for personal reasons. Well, why did he stay with us before? Before it was personal reasons. So I'm not having that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Right? That's fair enough. But
I think we were the only ones that were willing to keep him around, and risk the reputation tarnishing as a result of it. Come hell or high water, I guess Daniel Levy was going to keep Fabio Paratici. He must have really believed in the guy, even if there was some malfeasance done in Italy prior to that. And I was always surprised with I always thought that he would be loyal, because we showed loyalty to him, but apparently there is no loyalty in this game.
I think, and to be honest with Paratici though, where he gets credit, I think he had more hits than misses in the transfer window. And even Lange, who's took a lot of criticism because he left Villa and all that. Actually, if you look at the players that he's got rid of, he's also get the players out on loan and the players he's brought in. I I think he's done okay. I don't think he would have survived the cut if he hadn't. So it's not a question of just liking someone you work with. They've got to be productive, otherwise they don't survive, right? So obviously he has done his job. We don't know the full extent of it. Well, we know a lot of players were got rid of, a lot were sent out alone. He's virtually the director of football. That was his job. And he's brought players in. You could say Bergvall. There are others, aren't there? All right, he's brought in Yamin Hook and he's brought in other youngsters as well, So, yeah, that's on that. Okay, let's move on to this new addition because there's been so many. I mean, Frank brought in 10 with him, but now.
Well, going back to the protest real quick. So, as someone who is not regionally able to make it there, what other ways can people support? Do we know ways to support the protest?
Well, people just turn up. They're not doing a march. Okay. They're just doing that. I've no doubt that Billy and Atta will have something planned if this transfer window doesn't pan out a bit better.
Sure.
I should imagine you may see a I mean, I don't know. Obviously, he'll post it in our WhatsApp group. It's in our WhatsApp group, so I dare say post it. I've been promoting it all week up in my two Facebook groups and on XCOM as well. So that we'll see if they get a good turnout. The thing that normally happens though with this club is whenever something is planned, something comes in like a Conor Gallagher signing to sort of just take the edge of it a bit.
Sure.
To just take the edge of it. But the window isn't over. And so, no, if it's keeping ENIC's feet to the fire, I'm all for that. And I was never one. Look, one thing, I'll be totally honest and frank about this. I went to 2 protests. I met Brian Daigle at one, and one was opposite the cafeteria, opposite the Spurs, that's part of the Spurs ground, and the other one was opposite the Spurs shop. I went to 2. But naturally, as being a podcaster, you can imagine that, oh, you're a happy clapper, you're delusion, you're sitting on a fence, you're the problem, blah, blah, blah. You can imagine I've got pelters, but you got to get used to it when you run a podcast. Fair enough, One thing that I do disagree with the protest is like, and I still stay by this because it's just the way I brought up in my decades of watching this football club, is like, you support the manager, you support the players, right? And you don't have a pop at the fan base, basically, as you come through, right? So the fans do not buy players, they do not appoint the manager, they do not pick the team, right? And all right, you can turn around and say, fair enough, like, okay, don't spend money at the club and all that, but that's really a token gesture, because when you talk about average 6 million a game, 20 games, 120 mil, that's not even 20, that's probably 20% of our overall revenue streams.
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt the club by not spending. If like half the stadium did it, you would, or even a third, or 60,000, if 15,000 did it, you would.
Sure.
But you're not going to get those numbers. You're not going to get those numbers. So the argument's good enough, though. You don't need to, like, compound your argument by adding layers and layers and layers, because then you're not really adding anything. The argument is good enough in the fact that ENIC were tucked in. That's Vivian. Well, it was Joe Lewis originally. Now you've got Vivian, Charlie, and Nick Belcher. Were tucked behind Levy, who was the front man, and they let him get us in this situation from 2019, since that stadium opened and Potch wasn't back, right? They let us get us into the station with cheap buyers shopping in Pound Lane instead of Harrods, right? And consequently, we are where we are now. Things have improved with a fully fit squad. Bring a couple of them in. With a fully fit squad, it's a decent squad. It's not a Premier League winning squad, but it's a decent squad that should be finishing the top 7 at least. So yeah. So that's just my take on it. But I'm in solidarity with the protest, definitely, because I said 3 years ago, when fans were screaming for an investor, I was like throwing my hands in the air in disbelief. I said, an investor, the clue's in the name, invest, right? That's the clue. An investor wants a return on their money, or they want to see their stake in the club rise exponentially over 10 years, whatever. They're parking money. You know, that's not going to solve the problem. The only thing that solves our club is investment in a squad. And you don't buy into a football club to make money, because it doesn't matter how much you spend on players, whether we're Spurs, Man United, Barcelona, Real Madrid, fans will always want you to spend more. They will. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
It's the nature of this. And as Sugar once said, he said, if I spent all my wealth on Spurs and walked away, what thanks would I get? None. So you don't come into football to make money, right? You may give yourself a chairman's job and make money that way, right? But you don't come into football to make money. I mean, that's why we need a new owner, and we need a new owner that's like, you need a Google or Meta or Alphabet around them, they're worth $1 trillion, or you need an Elon Musk to call it the SpaceX Stadium, or you need a Microsoft or someone where the money's not important, somewhere where, because Spurs is a shining jewel in London, it's a trophy, forever owns it, basically. And if you're Microsoft, Elon Musk, Alphabet, and Google, then you can use the stadium to entertain clients for free and things like that. Get them to come into partner. They'll have hundreds of partners anyway, maybe thousands, right? And enhance your global brand. You can use Spurs to, we've got to talk about, we're not talking about people that like a conglomerate of 10 people. I mean, 10 people never agree on anything anyway, Alan. Like, you know what I mean? So we need a single owner that's got more money than they can spend in like 4 lifetimes. You know what I mean? So that's what we need at this football club. And there's no reason why we should get someone like that.
Yeah.
Because if owners can come in and finance Man City and Newcastle, who are their owners are worth 36 billion or something or more, then there are other wealthy owners out there. No new owner's going to come. There's always going to be political sensitivity regarding billionaires anyway, right? How they earn their money. So we just need one who's a bit purer than the others. Or
at least appears pure, I guess.
Or appears to be pure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you got to say on this, on the protest?
No, this is good. I'm very excited to hear about it, and I'm sorry I can't be there.
Yeah. Let's just Team Tottenham go again. As soon as Yank, I don't know what this means, Steve. A minute, I don't stop listening. As soon as Yank called footy, I don't know.
I think it was me. I said footy. I think he's joking.
Right. Big up, Graham. Big up, Graham in the chat.
Hey, Graham.
And big up, Nita. And as it's late, we got 40 of you viewing us on various platforms, which is excellent on a Friday. Don't know where you are and what part of the world you're in, but we appreciate your support. And obviously, it's late in the UK, so people are probably out down the pub. If they're wise, they'll be down the pub anyway. So that's the bit on the protest. So we'll leave that there. Like I say, I'll put it up again for those of you watching on playback. If you do, protest is tomorrow. I'm going to the game.
That's just before the game, right? Saturday at 2.
Yeah, it's dead opposite. It's me outside the corner pin. It's not the corner pin now. It's Beavertown, but it's just dead opposite the exit out the Spurs shop, basically. Yeah, so this was an interesting one because Frank's agreed to this. So do you know anything about John Hettinger? He used to play for Holland. He had a lot of caps for Holland and
for Ajax. Yeah, for Ajax.
He hasn't had a very successful spell at Ajax, but he was at West Ham, at Liverpool during their champion winning season, Premier League winning season. He was there.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like maybe he bit off more than he could chew as a head coach. And maybe, some people aren't meant to be head coaches. It doesn't mean that they're bad coaches.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot more that goes into that role than just being a good coach. Being a good coach, you could be an assistant. And that's maybe where he needs to be at for right now. Maybe the whole process will help him in the future. But from what I understand, he was a very good player. And I think that is important in an assistant. I think the players like it when they play with people who they could say, "Oh, I watched you and I know you play well and whatnot." And then, there's a level of respect. I think that non-playing coaches or coaches who were not very good don't get.
Yeah, I've read conflicting reports about his style of coaching. You've had people because he was that sort of player in Holland that he was more, we sort out defence, blah, blah, blah. But I also had the opposite of Liverpool because he was more a front foot, trying to get them play, their attacking style, which won them the league. So, well, anyway, he's a footballer, so we know his football, his experience. I think he got 80 odd caps Holland or something.
Oh, good.
So that is some impressive record. And the Dutch have always played decent football or tried to, So this sounds like a good appointment. Not one that people have. Frank's agreed to this appointment. So being from that neck of the woods himself,
Sure.
He probably knows this guy and had a chat. I mean, you'll get conspiracy theorists saying he's back up in case we sack Frank and things like that. But I don't think that's the case. You never know, though. Could be wrong.
Right. Well, he's replacing Matt Wells, right?
Yeah, he's actually sort of like assistant manager, basically.
Okay.
And he's saying, hello, Graham.
Changed my heart out about Spurs last week on YouTube.
Graham's replied, let's hope we see what's on. Yeah, if you've got any questions in the chat, get them to us. Yeah. Right. Where am I on the banners? Yeah. So this sounds like a good appointment, actually. There's been so many changes behind the scenes at the football club, though.
Which I think is good. It needed change. As long as, I think transparency is very important. I think as a fan, and I think the fan base would appreciate more transparency. Otherwise, because we have had transfer windows like the one right after we got the stadium, when we had like no incomings for like 2 windows in a row.
518 days it was.
Yeah. I mean, then you can't do that. You just can't.
Right. Well, we'll move on to okay, where am I going here? Right. Okay. Some good news. Gallagher and Sousa sign. We know Gallagher's a done deal. We'll talk about him first. What's your take? Do you like the player?
I think he's a good player. I think that he is an improvement in our team. I've heard criticism about him. I've heard praise for him. He, as far as I know, he didn't have the most successful spell in his time at the Atletico Madrid. But they obviously wanted him. He's been at Chelsea, came through Chelsea. So, he had a good learning, growing up and whatnot. And he's also, I think he's supposed to be a lot like Paulinho, isn't he? He's sort of a defensive midfielder.
I'd say he's more an all-round number 8.
All around.
I mean, he progresses, he gets forward as well. I did post videos to everyone in the groups, all the groups.
Obviously, he's a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah, and he's very energetic. And he can put a through ball and he can chip in with some goals as well. Yeah. I would actually class him as that level. The reason there's been no uproar among the fan base is like he's not elite level. He's 25, signed a 5-year contract, so finished this season on 5 more. But he's that level below elite. He's England international.
Yeah.
So he's a very good footballer. He's not elite. He could become elite. He's only 25, but he's very good at what he does. He drives well. My striking remembrance of him, I don't watch too much of Chelsea, but when he was at Crystal Palace on loan, they beat us 3-0. He ran the show.
Yeah, he was at Crystal Palace.
He's not a deep line. He's not a deep line playmaker. He's a middle box to box 8, but he's an all-round midfielder, basically an all-round midfielder, very energetic.
So he's someone that can kind of come in and step in for Bentancur now that Bentancur's out.
Yeah, well, even Archie Gray is more progressive than Bentancur is. I like Bentancur pre his ACL injury, but
sure,
he's on a long contract now, so that might mean that Paulinho doesn't get signed in the summer unless they sell Bentancur. But
which I don't understand, because Paulinho has been a very good servant in his time here. He's scored goals.
He's done well.
He's done well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's done well. But I still think Paulinho should be judged at the end of the season over his whole input.
Of course.
The games that he's played.
Of course.
Because you can start well and play well. How many times have you seen players play really well when they get a new contract and then they drop off?
Yeah, then they get comfortable. Yeah.
So if he knows that, you've got to show it. I mean, he's really good in the last game he was in. I mean, if he can keep maintain it, he's got to be consistent. He's got to be consistent because he's not young. Well, he's not young in football terms now that teams seem to be playing younger players.
Yes.
Because he's 30, 31. So, and if you want, we may take him. We may go back to Bayern and say we ain't paying that for him. If you half price, we'll take. Well, we'll see. I no doubt they're willing deal on it. I would keep him as a squad player personally.
Completely.
But when I was speaking to Gary Ward and all that, I said, my gut instinct says we won't keep him. And even with the good performance, it was just that I thought we're now going to bring in a midfielder. We might bring in an Akluush or someone else as well, right? That can play on the wing and the middle and drive us forward, right? But we're then going to have 10, 11 midfielders.
Yeah.
We get by with 8. I know 6 would be norm, but when you've got a squad of 25, 22 players gives you 2 in each position. 23 gives you the third goalkeeper. That means you've got 2 spare spots. I don't mind them being midfielders. Most games are won and lost in midfield. You pick up Bockins in midfield, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So I don't mind going in next season with 8 midfielders. And I don't mind if we're bloated now, because if we're bloated now to get us out of a hole, I don't give a shit, right? Basically. Right. That's the club's problem to sort out in January. Then decide who you want to keep and who you want. So if it means that, we know Basuma will go. I think Sarr's under threat.
Yep.
He's not getting games to Senegal. I like Sarr, but you can get emotionally attached to these players when you've seen him good. Oh, he's really good doing this, that, and the other. But then you've got to trim the squad down to 25.
Right.
So this is why they get paid the money. So I think Sarr will go. And then we've got to see. I think Decky will be fine when he comes back.
I hope.
I see Maddison on grass, kicking the ball around and all that.
He looks stiff, but it's great to see.
If he doesn't break down, we got to see these players come back. They're fit. I think Decky will, because he's the Warhorse type. I think he will. Maddison, people are doubting he might never come back, or but they're just saying, look, he's not going to lose his skill level just because he's had an injury, right? He's still going to have pass the ball and things like that. It's a question of whether his body will stand up,
right?
And I like Maddison. I think he's key for us as well.
He is. We really could use him right now.
And we're talking even players like Maddison and Decky. They should be. I mean, Decky's probably my favourite player, but and Romero, which might upset a few people watching this video, but they've got to prove their fitness, and they should be squad players. They should be part of a squad of 16 or 18, basically.
Yeah.
Out of that. So Gallagher, I got to be honest. When he was first linked with us, I think it was before we were ever linked with Morgan Gibbs-White.
It's been a few years, right? It seems like every year we're always linked to Gallagher.
I thought, because it's Chelsea and I'm Spurs biased anyway against them, more against Arsenal, of course, but I just thought, no, thank you, I don't want him. And then when I watched recent videos of him, just recently, I thought, there's more to him than I actually thought, actually. There's more.
There is. There is. And
he's a better player than I thought he was, actually.
You mentioned that, he's not elite, but he is that level just below. And I think, as a fan, I had to be realistic and say that I don't see the incentive for an elite player to come to Spurs in the moment, because of all of the stuff in the back, the business side and there's so much up in the air with the club. I think that once we start firing, we start moving up the table, we start becoming more of a threat on a regular basis, we will be able to start attracting those elite players again. But I think right now we kind of have to, resign ourselves to say, look, maybe those players, it's not worth the effort to try, because what it's gonna be the whole transfer window, and then B, it's the salary is probably going to be too much. So even if we can get a club to club agreement, we probably won't get it with the player. And it's just not the Spurs way. It seems like it's not the Spurs way anymore. They want to find someone at the Conor Gallagher level and make them great, and then potentially sell them on for a lot more than we purchased them for.
Yeah. Let's go through the chat. We've got regulars new coming in, backroom start. Yeah. Yeah, there's been so many changes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And he's on that 300K, David. Yeah. And like, he was never going anywhere else. Liverpool dragged their feet. He may have gone there, but I mean, and he's at the end of his contract, hence the 20 mil. I mean, if it'd gone to the summer, there'd have been nothing. That's why, because he's a cheap price, Man City willing to give him $400,000 a week.
I think he may have gone to Liverpool had Konate gone to Real Madrid, but when they dropped their interest in him, I don't think he was ever going to go to Liverpool.
Nita's saying at this point, freshness is needed. Homegrown is relevant. Also, let's see how it goes. Yeah, that's a good point, actually, on the homegrown.
Conor Gallagher counts as homegrown. It kind of replaces the Brennan Johnson that we lost.
He does as well. And we do, yeah. And I'm beginning to wonder how many other under 21s count as homegrown now. Scarlett probably does. He was at the club when he was 17, but if you've got to be with your academy. If you're loaned out, it doesn't count abroad. That's why when Saar was out with Metz or something, it didn't count. Even though it was registered with us, it didn't count. So
interesting.
Yeah, that helps because Johnson's gone. He's gone in. I mean, I still think it means we'll only be able to register 22 for the Champions League again. But all clubs have got this problem. This isn't a big screw up by Spurs. They've all got it. But then you make up the other numbers with your under 21s. So it's not a biggie. It's not a big issue. I mean, the last time we had loads of homegrown was when Poch was in charge, and we had 6 in England, didn't we? You had Walker and Rose, you had Dyer and Winks, and you had Kane and Dele Alli, didn't you? We had no problems then.
Yeah. Man, those were the days. What a team.
David again. Gallagher plays 59, goals 10, assists 10, yellow cards 22, Athletic 7 goals, 7 assists. Yeah. I'm not worried about yellow cards. You're going to pick them up in midfield, and you should have enough in your squad to cover when a player misses a game. Like Romero's out, Danso comes in, but something like that, or you've got Davis. So, and they are adequate replacements.
The average.
Good evening, all. King Odell. King Odell's everywhere out there on all the podcasts we take. If anything,
what would it take for either of you to accept retaining Frank next season? What would it take for the club retaining? Man, well, he's not done himself a lot of favors by being out of both cups and being very far down in the table. I think we need to start playing as a team that doesn't just strive to be mid-table. We need to really start moving up the table because it is, it is middle of the season. He could turn it around. There's nothing, other than I guess himself is stopping him from changing things up to try to do better. If we wound up like 5th or 6th, I think I would be willing to retain him.
The thing is, we should be carrying that warm glow from that UEFA Cup win through to this season. And all that's happened is the fan base has been drained by a lack of playing style and poor results, especially at home. And as a season ticket, I would like to see us win a few games at home. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'll be going tomorrow. And I'd like to see that. And King Odell, let's put it into perspective, right? He's had 20 league games, 6 Champion League games. That's 26. 2 League Cup games is 28, an FA Cup game 29, and a pre-season, and we're lying 14th in the league.
Yeah.
Now, the mitigating circumstances are, right, that he's lost his 4 top goal scorers for last season. Johnson's gone with 18. Solanke had 15, I think, in all competitions, and Decky and Maddison got 10 or 12 each, right? And you could say 5 with Son. So he has been hamstrung in a way, but at least I would expect to see a cohesive pattern of play in our plan. We ain't. We were in long balls in some games down the wings all the time. There seems to be no pattern or understanding in the midfield. We look disjointed and lack cohesion in too many games, right? So Gallagher will help that. He will definitely help us there, right?
Absolutely.
But we've got to see growth and progress, as Alan's just alluded to, in this second half of the season. Otherwise, he's gone in the summer.
For sure.
But they're not. ENIC are not going to sack him in the middle of a transfer window. Let's be fair. I mean, one, they appointed him. He wasn't a Levy appointment. It was their appointment. One, they've appointed him. So if they sack him, all the pressure's on them. All the arrows point at them. So do they really want this pressure when they've promised to, invest in the squad, a significant amount of money in the squad? No, they're not going to do it. They will stick with him, and so I think we've got Frank for the rest of the season. And look, we all want him to do well, don't we, Al? I mean, we do.
Of course, we're all Tottenham fans. We should all want the club to do well. I don't necessarily care for his style. From what I've seen of his style that he's presented to us, I've not really been a fan of it. And I hope that he can turn it around. I just hope that we're not so invested in Thomas Frank that we're not willing to pull the trigger if we should be pulling a trigger.
Daniel, big up Daniel, mate. Gallagher's a class sign, proper box to box. Anyone who thinks he can't play in the 10 gun, which McPanos that was saying. Yeah, he's more the buzzing around the penalty area, box to box than an actual creative playmaker. Reminds me a bit in the old, those that remember Terry McDermott at Liverpool. Probably not, none of you, but reminds me of that sort of it's not. I wouldn't say he's not a 10 though. Let's move on. Paul is other midfield players as a DM. He's a top midfield goal front.
Yeah, that's I totally agree.
Yeah, I'll keep him, David, but my gut instinct says we won't. I mean, but you don't know who we're going to bring in. I mean, we're going to be cluttered with midfield, and we're going to have to. Well, that's what the club's got to do. They've got to decide who survives the cut. Because Basuma's definitely going, and I think Sarr will go as well. And you get money for Sarr.
Yep.
Yeah. True. And we took Bobby Smith for Chelsea and Jimmy Robertson. You probably won't remember any of them. And we actually took Gus Poyet and William Gallas as well. So, and we took AVB. So, yeah.
Is that where he came from, Chelsea?
Yeah, I think AVB was at Chelsea, wasn't he? I'll stand corrected by David Clark if he wasn't. He was at, I think we took two of them ex-managers. I'm not sure. Right. David Clark, and after this would walk into this hapless midfield.
That's the way it feels, right?
Yeah, I think we've got developing players in Graham Bergvall, but this is the point. You say Graham Bergvall and the youngsters, Odobert and Toa youngsters, Moani's the youngsters. You got 5 in the team. Back in the day, you'd bled one with 11 seasoned pros or something, or 2 max. But we've had to throw them in because we've got no one else. The only positive that's come out of all these crappy results we've had is that these players have developed better and got game time. I mean, Bergvall has stepped up his game. Gray I think he looks a natural in midfield. He's more progressive with the ball than Bentancur is, in my opinion. But I know people like Danny out there doesn't like Gray. That's fair enough. That's his opinion. It's subjective. We see how their careers pan out. But then you're expecting consistency when you got 5 youngsters in your team or whatever, and the rest of the team are not that old. I mean, VDV's not that old.
Spence is not that old.
Doggy's not that old. Spence is not that old. So none of them are in their peak years from 20, 26 upwards. Yeah, okay.
I think that's why another reason to keep Paulinho.
I think it's a work in progress midfield, David. As long as they still, I don't kill. Yeah, true, Daniel. Yeah. Luca talks Talk to Don's. Hi, mate. Appreciate you coming, mate. Frank is dope, like the managers before him. Patience been lost long before Frank. Yeah. I mean, patience is the thing here, isn't it? I mean, like, and I understand our fan base's angst and lack of patience when what they've had to put up with is mediocre. Poor transfer buyers. Yeah, I get all that.
Well, that and coupled with highest ticket prices is not helpful. Yeah.
Well, we wait and see, Machina Joe, right? Machina Joe. We wait and see. I mean, I hope he does turn it around. The reason I didn't want him gone is because I've got a bit more patience. I think it's because I'm an older Spurs fan, but I don't want to go through the rinse and repeat cycle if we don't have to. If we have to, do it in the summer. There'll be so many managers available in the summer, right? You got Xavi, you've got Zidane's out there, you've got Poch out there. You now know that Glasner's not staying with Palace.
Yep.
He said he's going, right? Then you'll have quite a few managers sacked by their countries after the World Cup. So if Frank's going, it'll be known before the season's end, and I should imagine feelers will be put out for who we want to come in. And if that's the case, can we please get someone with Spurs DNA, which means a manager that plays attractive, attacking football?
Yeah.
Evening, Carl. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, even if, I guess if you want to look at it half empty, I guess there will be a fair number of available good coaches. Bournemouth is about to they've lost their players. They're probably going to lose more of their players in the summertime. Areola might be someone that doesn't want to stay at Bournemouth. It's a much smaller club.
We've got Matey at Fulham as well.
Yep.
He might get a move. I mean, if they're offered bigger clubs, they'll probably take them.
Yep.
Look, there'll be loads of managers that would want to manage Spurs, but are they the right DNA? We are a very attractive club for a manager. You sign one contract, you're made for life, basically, if you're not already made for life before you come. But you want a manager with the right, with the right approach to football. Not one. I see too many managers. I get it in the bottom half of the division, which we happen to be in, where a lot of managers there, they set up basically to save their jobs than they are interested in improving. I'm being cynical now rather than improving their teams and their football. AB was yes because Gray's not good enough. Disagree, David. I like Graham Bergvall. I like Cyrus. These are kids though. They're kids. You imagine you're playing in the Premier League. You're 19 years of age. In the amount of games these players have had. I mean, the pace of the game when you're pitch side, and you've played the game, David, right? So I mean, just to be 19 to get on the pitch for a Premier League side, that says something about you. That says something about what the coaching staff and the manager have seen of you in training to put you in the team. How many 19-year-olds are that play in the Premier League? How many teams can field a younger squad than Spurs? I think Chelsea possibly could. That's about it.
Yeah, not too many.
No.
Gray's got a lot. I mean, last season he played a ton, albeit in a different position, but he played a ton.
Yeah, fine, David. I stand, by what you say here. I don't think what I've seen of Gallagher, he doesn't look like a 10 to me. At Atletico Madrid, he was nicknamed the English Pitbull. So you get an idea of what type of play, what role he did for them. Right. Okay, yeah.
He was Pochettino's guy at Chelsea.
Yeah, we know he's not elite, but I think he's just below that elite level. I mean, plays for his country, but and England haven't been bad actually in the last few tournaments.
The thing with Bergvall, again, to me, he's like a golden retriever puppy. If you've ever been around a golden retriever puppy, they're very active, clumsy, but they will touch every blade of grass, but it doesn't amount to a whole lot. And I feel like with Bergvall, I don't know that I've seen enough of his skill on the ball. Not to say he doesn't have his moments, but I think he needs more consistency. And maybe that comes with experience.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like when he's good, he's looked really good. You're thinking we've got some player here. And when he's not on point, he gives the ball away in dangerous situations. He tries to take on players when, look, I was always taught I was crap right back. Right. I was always taught at a very young age that you use all available space, which I don't see players doing in the Premier League. They play a lazy ball rather than running and use the space.
Yep.
And two things my coach taught me: use all available space, so I wasn't overlapping fullback, right? And let the ball do the work, right?
Okay.
Two things that stuck with me: use all available space and let the ball do the work. So in other words, if you've got the pass on, it's an easy ball. Don't try and take your man on.
Sure.
You don't have the risk of losing the ball. So that was, and it was like common sense stuff, you know, it was common sense. So, and I don't see that in the Premier League. I see, even in the Spurs team, I see defenders like, when I'm talking about using the ball, like VDV charging forward. He's not a progressive passer like Romero is, but he can get forward. There are times when the fullbacks have the ball and they don't get forward, you know. But if you've got that pass, I mean, like, make the easy pass, let the ball do the work.
Yep.
Pull the trigger down on this. We'll let vision instruction long term plan. Yeah. ENIC have sat behind for 20 odd years since they bought the club. They've sat behind Levy. Now you can't. You're at the front now. All eyes are on you.
I don't know that we deserve, that we should climb the table. I more than I want us to climb the table.
I think if you compare Gray's stats, David, if you go and get them and compare them with someone like Bentancur, Gray's stats are better. And we've only seen him play he's recently played 7 games on the spin. That's why I was worried he might get injured and have to be rested. But we were lacking midfielders. I mean, now Basuma's back. I don't want to see him in a Spurs shirt again, but we probably might have to. But now we've got Gallagher. It gives us another option as well. So, and someone said today to me that Paulinho was injured.
Paulinho was injured?
Yeah, I don't know if he's got a knock. Well, I don't know if that's true. I haven't had it confirmed. So that would mean we've only got Gray, Gallagher, and virtually Xavi that are fit. Basuma's back, but yeah.
He'll be on the bench. There's no way he can't be on the bench, but he's going to wind up maybe with like 20 minutes in a game or something. Who knows? Sometimes you got to play the players that you don't even want anymore just to get them out there, to show what
Gray can do it all in midfield. I mean, he's played at a 10 at Leeds. He played 30-odd games from at fullback out of necessity. I've seen him dominate a game against Chelsea in midfield. I've seen him in midfield. He's running his engine. He's got a great engine on him. He did a lot of charging runs down the right against Fulham. He made the ball at Bodo Glint. He was right down the right-hand side to square the ball for the goal.
Mm-hmm.
He scored recently. I mean, I think a lot of fans will be surprised if you see Gray over a season. I think he's going to have a fantastic career at Spurs. And he is still, David, he is still developing though, mate. He's still developing. But for a 19-year-old to do what he does, to play in that midfield, I think that's where I see him. I don't see him as, even though Frank said he could possibly do a job at centre-back. But if you notice when Paulinho played so well in that game, Gray was dropping deep. He was behind Paulinho. I don't know if how many of you noticed that are watching us on various platforms. So, I mean, I like the player. If I was getting rid, I mean, although I like Sarr, get rid of Sarr and Basuma first. We'll see what happens with our midfielders when Decky and Maddison are back before the end of the season. Decky will be back in late February probably, and Maddison might get back in March or whatever, and then we'll see. I don't want either of those players to be ruined.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Decky will be. I get the doubts against Maddison because he's had a lot of injuries, but he's quality. He is quality. And he's not going to play well every game and fans get on his back, but then neither does everyone else. Neither does any of the other players.
Well, I think he's also gone private with his medical, so I don't think the Spurs are treating him, or if they are, they're just checking in on him. Because if you follow
if he's doing
his
additional
journey,
work, that would have to be in agreement with the club. They're not going to have that. You know, you're sorting yourself out. Not when you're under contract to the club. So if it's within agreement that you do extra work from an outside source, fine. If it's to improve him.
The thing with Gallagher is he's the unknown right now for us. We don't know how he's going to perform. And more importantly, West Ham don't know how he's going to perform. So we could have an edge up simply because of the unknown.
Yes, Nate, a good point. We've lacked that. We seem to we've waited a long time since the stadium's opened in 2019.
What do you think about with Solanke coming back? We saw him not too long ago play for just a little while.
He will make a better difference. His hold up play is better. His hold up's better than Richarlison's. He's got an instinct in the box to get on the ball, whereas Richie, it tends to be the ball has to come to him.
Yes,
he can make things happen around him. Do you remember that goal when he actually cut in on the edge of the penalty and slotted one in the corner just from outside the edge of the box?
That was sliding in, if I remember correctly.
That Harry Kane goal.
Yeah.
And when he got away against Bodo Glen, he has that striker's instinct. Even Johnson had it, to be in the right place at the right time, or to his movement to get in the right place at the right time. And the ball sticks to him better. And he's off. And Richarlison's not as bad as everybody says with his hold-up play. It's just that half the time it bounces off him or he don't find his pass. But other times he has been good this year with some of his layoffs and things like that. But I want him gone.
Well, I think we've seen the best of what Richarlison has to offer. And I think if we're going to capitalize on that to improve on him, now would be the time to sell him.
Yeah. Gallagher's captain material. Yeah, well, Poch had him as his captain at Chelsea.
Yeah.
So for all the conspiracy theorists to think like we've got in Gallagher, Poch is coming back. I mean, that might happen anyway, but let's not pull the trigger on Frank. Who we got here? I do agree there. He's going to sort it 2-8 because he's so good. Yeah. He'll be the Rottweiler in midfield for us, right? That's what he's going to be.
We need him to stay healthy, regardless of what he does. We need him to stay healthy.
Well, you got that in a WhatsApp group now. Most people saying, he's come to Spurs. He'll probably get injured first game.
Yeah.
We'll talk about whether he plays against West Ham later, right? So, they tend to rate Bergwijn quietly, as they don't really rate. Yeah, I see that. I mean, it's because Bergwijn's got that. He looks sexier, doesn't he? Because of the attacking forward play. I mean, and Romero put the through ball for him at West Ham when he nutted it in the net, and it was a lovely goal and a good run. Yeah, so I get that with Bergwijn, but both players are developing. I mean, I think for their age, they've done well. If others don't rate them fair enough, I think they're both going to be stars for us. I agree the club's poorly run. I don't think the squad's bad if everyone's fit, David. I think it's a good squad. It's a top 5th, 6th, 7th squad when everyone's fit.
But I think he is right that I think that Gray and Bergwijn are getting more time simply because of the injuries.
Fine, Tom. It's subjective. I'm not going to get upset if people disagree with my opinions. I'm not like that, and I don't do hate either. So people who want to wind me up, tough luck. I'm very phlegmatic about most things. Right. I think the fan base is drained, even though we won a trophy last year. It's drained. It doesn't seem like we won a trophy last year, Al, does it? It doesn't.
We were 17th in the league. 17. We lost so many games. I forgot what winning felt like.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think you're right, David. That's what I heard. I hadn't had it confirmed. You seem to have confirmed it. I think that it's going to be Gray, Moani, and Gallagher tomorrow, and maybe Frank wasn't intending to start Gallagher. maybe give him a half, second half or something.
Yep.
Or maybe he was just going to throw him straight in, because that's what I would have done anyway. And if he is gassed, although he's fit, he said he's fit from Atletico Madrid, his fitness levels are up, then to me, you would start him and you'd play him till he ran out of gas. That meant taking him off after 70 minutes, you'd take him off then. Yeah, his contract ends in the summer, Daniel. And we have the option, we have the year's option. Now, if the club want to get 5 or 10 mil for him or something like that, they'll extend it. On the other hand, they might just cut their losses. So
I'm sure a Turkish club will come in and swoop him up.
Oh, someone to come in for him. Look, he's a good player. He's just not dedicated, and he's not consistent. So we don't want we don't want inconsistent players. That's true, David. That is true. But we've been left with no options, haven't we? We've had injured players and they've had to play.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, there was a time when people were crying for Spence and he couldn't get in the team. Now he's sort of established himself, hasn't he?
But there's no doubt we need to strengthen the club. Our bench is not as strong as other teams, the top 6.
There's Ozzy Angel. Well, okay, fine. If you like to, I liked Angel. I didn't think we should have sacked him at that time. But we've moved on now, so we are where we are. We've got Frank. Yeah, I'm not having this. I'm not having this. This is one thing where I'm agreeing with the protest and hold the Lewis family to fire. I'm not having this. Oh, the next summer transfer window will be the one when we go big. No, you need to bring in another name plan now. Then we will have had the best January window ever with this football club. Prior to that, the best pair was Bentancur and Kulusevski when they came in, right? But we'd have had the best January ever. We'd get a decent. If we get. Good evening, Steve.
How are you guys?
What's up, man?
Yeah, we're fine. We're talking about the chat, and we're just going through the chat, doing their questions.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just hitting back here, ranting about this. I'm not interested in a big summer. I want work done now. I mean, there are players we could get. We could get Aklaouche if we put our hands in our pockets, right? We could go and get him now, and he would fix a lot of problems, in my opinion, right? He can play across the midfield and on the wing, and he's left-footed, right? And he's only 23, but he's an absolute talent. I mean, there are other players. I'll come on to other players we can get later. I've got a list of 14, believe it or not, right? So, yeah. So, what's your take on Conor Gallagher and that?
I think it was a great signing for this club. As a matter of fact, it kind of threw me for a loop, just considering that, the profile of player that we bring in isn't Conor Gallagher, somebody that has Premier League experience, that has that Champions League experience, that actually is right at the start of his prime. So, for the next 4 years, you're going to get very high level football. And the fact that we got him for 35 million euros is an absolute steal. It's a great piece of business for this club. And so from that standpoint, I was absolutely thrilled. Now, my questions are whether or not he's going to be if Thomas Frank is actually going to use him correctly, or whether or not that ultimately is going to be a good fit, or if this is a signing for the here and now, also for the later when Poch comes in. I think it's great. But you guys have to understand that the January window in its nature is a reactionary window, and so those oven ready players may or may not be available. That being said, we also just saw Manchester City, bringing in Semenyo, being in Guehi. So yes, those players can be available if you're willing to pay the money. And it's not an issue of like, we're going to negotiate because we're going to try to give them for £5 million cheaper. You know what I mean? The quintessential Daniel Levy negotiation tactic, where you're going to bring it to the end of the window. You're going to have to be able, at least for a few windows, just to pay the freight on the player. So if you have a target that's a £70 million player, then you pay it and you pay the wage bills and you get on with it. And that's the best way that you can reverse I guess you can say the reputation that Spurs have in the global market. But I will say that Conor Gallagher it's that double pivot is actually going to be pretty nice. And I guess the question is whether or not Frank is going to allow Conor Gallagher to be Conor Gallagher. That's the only question I have. But outside of that, it's a great piece of business.
Yeah, I was saying earlier that at Atletico Madrid, he was known as the English Pitbull in there. So, yeah. Right, this is linked to Steve on Stateside Footy, so get over there and subscribe to his channel. Yeah, while I'm going to give a Diehards channel a plug. Guys, we've got 70 odd of you watching us now on various platforms. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, it only takes a second. If you're not on YouTube at the moment and you're on XCOM or whatever, just nip over to our homepage and subscribe to the channel and give the videos a thumbs up, because it helps the content enormously. You know, we also have a Facebook group if you're interested in joining that. 2 Facebook groups actually, and you can find us on XCOM. And if any of you want to come on the channel as a guest, you're more than welcome. I mean, but we'd need your phone number to add you to our WhatsApp group. So the secure way of doing that is either through XCOM private chat or through Facebook private chat. Okay, so if you're interested in coming on, let us know. Right, okay, so with that, I want to go back to the banners, because when I was on the Gallagher one, right, I'll stay with you, Steve. Sousa, what do you know about him? Did you see the videos I sent?
I did, but I like him. And one of the reasons why I like him is he's not afraid to attack, and that's one of the things that whether we all agree that might, when it comes to Destiny Udogie, whether or not he's a little gun shy getting forward, or maybe his issue with crosses and things like that. This guy actually likes to go for it, and that's one of the things that I absolutely love is the fearlessness. Now, I guess the issue that I have is, number one, is he ready to be in our first team? And number two, is he going to be ready to challenge for playing time right away? Is this something where they're going to give him like a month just to kind of acclimate and all these other things, or is he a legit player that actually can help this first team right away? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that's the unknown.
Even if he was signed up in time, which will probably be declared early next week, the Brazil season's finished, so he's got to get up to Premier League fitness levels anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's that. I mean, I've watched videos of him because I do in a post, and whenever a story gains gravitas and it's worth going looking at these players. And yeah, he's good going forward, tenacious, final ball, like every fullback's final ball could be better. What you don't see in the videos you don't see him heading. So I don't know if he's good in the air, though he's 6 foot. And you don't see him like defending set pieces and corners and things like that. So, I mean, he is a defender. The clue's in the word. I mean, to me, you've got to be able to defend first. I know it's very fashionable to have fast fullbacks now or wing backs. So, I like the look of him, though. Alan, have you had a glance at him?
Just what you sent. Otherwise, I would have not known who he was. And he looked good. It's a highlights reel. It's really hard to tell from the highlights reel what kind of product we're truly getting. But he's young. He's supposed to be very good. So I've got my hopes up. Hopefully he does well for us.
One of the things that I would like to ask you guys specifically about Sousa, but also in the left back position, is that the way that I feel about this can't be the only addition to this position and think that this is going to solve it, right? Me personally, I actually want them to target a ready-made player in the summer at the left back position, because quite honestly, as much as I like Destiny Udogie, and I really do, we absolutely need stability at the position. And that, me personally, I think this might be an opportunity where we can sell off a Destiny Udogie and bring in somebody that's going to give us a little bit more stability to allow Sousa to develop and potentially be that next. I'm curious about how you guys feel about it.
Alan?
With Sousa?
No, just the left back, the left back position, right? Because Sousa is going to need time to acclimate and develop, right? And at the same time, we have Destiny Udogie, who is, he's completely injured. So me personally, I don't think this should be the only signing for this position. I think they actually need to target and potentially move on from Udoshi.
Oh, I would love it if we had a second left back come in. I think that would be great. To be honest, if someone came in for Destiny, I'd be open to it. Not because I think Destiny is a bad player. I think Destiny's great, but Destiny gets injured every season, and it's like long term. And I'm thinking I'd rather have a player that's a little more consistent, less injury prone, who we can count on, than someone that we're constantly having to sub for. So yes, I would love that. I don't know that we're going to get that this window, because we're in a desperate need for more position coverage. But I would love a second left back. It's important. It really is. It's important. We need to beef up our bench. We just don't have the depth really, and we're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, well, with Sousa, I mean, he'll be signed by the club. I mean, I might give him a few under-21 games. I actually like the left back, and the under-21's Mason King. I think he's a good prospect. And then you've got pre-season, Nick, to have a look at players as well, have we brought in. So I don't know what sort of pre-season it'll be with the World Cup, though.
Do you think Tell's going to go out on loan? You think they'll let him go?
I really want that player to stay. I think he's ahead of Odobert. I like the look of Odobert as well. I think in a 25-man squad, it's down to them if they're going to get game time. If it's for squad, I'll keep them. I think Tell's showing more promise now. But he was good against Villa, wasn't he, in the cup? Again, he sort of stepped up.
I just don't know that he's going to get the time that he wants.
Well, and apparently he wants to play in the 9 position. He may end up as a 9. Big up. I don't know how to pronounce your name, mate. I'm going to call you Vabe. Vabe. I'm going to call you Vabe. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I watched him today. He didn't have a great game today. We drew 1-1 away at Burnley and Spurs player. I watched the under-21s. I was quite impressed. I like the look of Mason King, though, the left back. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that says that he can't develop. He's still so young. He's just he's the golden retriever puppy that runs around all over the place. It kind of amounts to.
Well, I want Spence on the right, he's right-footed. Spence, you play on the right. It makes a difference when you're going forward, trying to link up with someone like Odobert. You're not. You're going to cut in, right? So that's why I want you doggy back. And we don't know what's going to happen with Ben Davis. If Sousa, if they look at him and think not ready, they may give Davis another year. I think he would stay. He did all right when he's come on recently. He's not your first choice, so is he? No.
But he's consistent. He's still a consistent 6-7. He's kind of you get about 60-70% every time.
So Sousa and Gallagher, they're a springboard to build on, aren't they? I mean, like, we've started well. I mean, Gallagher is not elite. He's the level below that. But they're a springboard to build upon. I'm not against bringing in young players for the future as long as their first priority is upgrading the first team squad. So, yeah. So, latest transfer rumours. Oh, there's so many, honestly. We'll go through some of these, right? So, Christos Zolis, right? He's a winger with Bruges. Have you guys seen him at all?
Yep. His highlight reel.
Posted a video of him. He's good. I mean, most of the players here are good. I can't say much for the last. The last 2 are goalkeepers that have just been mentioned recently, but we're not going to do nothing goalkeepers to the summer. If Vicario goes, that'll be in the summer, right? I mean, I know half the fan base would want him to go, but So, yeah, it's impressive stats for Club Brugge, right, in Belgium. Christensen. Mains Akliouche. Everyone knows I like this guy. Al, do you like him? Have you seen him?
Akliouche, yes.
Yeah.
I liked him when he played against us in Monaco, and I think he's someone that could come in. I know he plays mostly on the right, but he can play elsewhere. He's left-footed. We need with Mo out for a couple months. We're gonna need coverage. Decky's not there yet, so we really are lean.
And like I said earlier, Steve, I don't care if we bloat the squad to get us out the hole we're in now. Then worry about offloading players in the summer.
Yeah.
Right. And that is that is absolutely right. One of the things that I like about a guy like Akliouche is he is a player for the right now. Considering where we're at on the right hand, the right hand side, we're essentially playing left wingers on the right hand side, and that solves the immediate issue for that as well too. The only problem that I have with this is the long term fit. Considering that this is he is just like the Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund. Both of them pretty much have the exact same profile. Both left footed, both play on the right side. Both can also be attacking midfielders as well too. But that being said, you would probably assume that Mohamed Kudus is still going to be the right winger for the here and also for the later for the next couple of years, which means either one of these guys that come in, they're going to have to make the switch to the left side, and Adeyemi seems a little bit better suited for that. But you're kind of wondering, especially with a guy like Akliouche or even Adeyemi making the jump from the French or the German leagues into the Premier League, and then having to essentially learn a new position in a system that doesn't necessarily play direct of how they like to play. They like to drift a little in, get on their predominant foot and attack that way, and that's just not necessarily how we play. And so you're wondering whether or not either of these are going to be able to potentially handle a position change. Well, that's my only concern, but I like both of them though.
Yeah. Akliouche and Adeyemi, they're both gettable. Akliouche, I mean, Monaco is already looking for a replacement for Akliouche. And Dortmund, well, if you believe the press reports, they've offered Adeyemi to Spurs for 60 mil. Because
Dortmund,
his girlfriend doesn't want to live in Dortmund. He wants out of Dortmund. So she wants to move to a better city, basically.
It's Adeyemi's lady.
Yeah. And this kid, I mean, let's hope he has a poor game against us during the week because we're playing Dortmund at home. And he is fast and he takes players on. And he's a German international now. He's got a few caps and goals. His stats are impressive. He's only going to get better. But, I mean, I'd be quite happy to take him or Akliouche. Moving on to Brahim Diaz. He can't stop scoring goals for Morocco. I think they're in the final, aren't they, against Senegal?
Against Senegal, yes, that's right. Brahim Diaz he's a creative player, which is something we're lacking.
Is it Morocco went through? I'm not sure of that though. They did.
Yeah, Morocco.
Okay. So they're playing Senegal, and Sarr can't get a game for Senegal. So Brahim Diaz, he looks suited for the Premier League at Real Madrid because he's one of them stocky, well-built wingers rather than the lightweight ones which you think you can blow over in the wind. You know what I mean? Yeah, so. I mean, either of these three would do us. I don't think ENIC have got no excuse for not bringing another, below elite player in, which I'd class all these three as. Well, actually, Brahim Diaz, you might class him as elite. Some probably would. Yeah. So that's them. Hayden Hackney. Well, Ipswich offered Middlesbrough, they're flying 20 mil for him and they turned down because he was hoping he was going to get a move to Spurs. Now we're rumored to be interested. Are we really that interested in him?
He may just be a good championship.
Second or top in the championship. They're up there.
I wouldn't have a problem with a guy like Hayden Hackney. And I don't. And the interesting thing is, I don't understand why teams aren't reaching into the championship like they used to, especially when you think about a guy like Hayden Hackney, who has, a lot of first team experience, and now he's playing on a team that is, chasing a promotion. And you would think that that type of experience would be good enough to warrant a move up to the Premier League. He looks like he might be ready. And from that standpoint, we also have a need in that position as well, too. And so maybe it's just me, but we haven't seen a lot of movement like we used to from the second to the first division.
I don't think, he wouldn't satisfy the fan base just in name. He's just not
Right.
the top three. You could go and look at, you could say, yeah, but he's not. All right, they're all wingers, come whatever, but I just don't see us going for Hayden Hackney.
No,
We must have looked, our recruitment team must have looked and gone over his stats and all that. He's doing it, and they must have gone and done the eye test on him, which I think would be the clincher at that level. Now, this one's Sammy Aguilera at Porto.
From Porto, yeah.
They want about 85 mil for him or something, whether it's euros or not.
I just don't see it.
I don't trust Portuguese strikers. I know he come from Spain and he's doing well, unless they've eye tested him, had a real good look. Kuna's gone to Arsenal. He's turned out to be a bit of a dud at the moment. He might kick on. He might just be the settling into the Premier League. But if you're going to pay that sort of money, it was a bit like, that's why I haven't put Diamondi in here and Yildiz in here. If you're going to play that sort of money, you want someone who really is proven, don't you?
Yeah.
You can look elsewhere, or you can go and get two players for that sort of money. Otherwise, you could probably get Aklush. We could definitely get a Klush and Hayden Hackney if you want that pair for that sort of money.
I kind of agree with Steve too. I like Adeyemi also. I've watched when I watch Dortmund, he's a dangerous player.
Yeah.
I think of the targets now. Number one, like Spurs absolutely have to bring in a winger of some sort in this window, right? They can't just, they just can't ignore it. Today I think I was hearing rumors that Spurs are close to getting Omar Mamouche. Me personally, I would rather see a winger come through the door first, just to make sure that we actually have it. And of the players that are listed, I think there are maybe two that I would maybe three that I think would actually be generally good fits for the short term, and that's Adeyemi and maybe Akliouche, but also the idea of Strand Larson as well too. I kind of like that. Premier League, he's got the Premier League experience. Now, granted, he plays for Wolves, but that being said, it's like there is something to it when, especially when fans are looking for players that are ready made that can come in and compete at this level. He's already done it. So from that standpoint,
they want 40 mil for Larson. 40 mil.
We paid 40. We paid 40 mil for Archie Gray. You know what I mean? Like, we're not averse to spending that type of money, but this time it's going to be a player that, has the potential to perform right as soon as he steps through the door.
I'd go for Adam Morton. I'd pay over asking price.
All right. Well, let's talk about him then, because the stories around him are gaining gravitas. There's obviously a lot more talks going on behind the scene. Now, Palace going to get rid of him after get rid of Gueye as well.
With the coach too, I bet he probably wants to.
He's going. Well, he's going. Glasner's going. He's announced he's going in June, right?
Yeah.
So now you've got Guaye's gone.
Yep.
I believe we're talking about Wharton, but I think, and we're having chats. We must be friendly with him, having sold them Johnson. So I think that's a summer signing, personally.
I do too.
If that happens,
realistically. But I think if you pay enough money, because it seems like Crystal Palace is willing to start accepting money for their players.
I haven't. Wolves are offering Larson around for 40 mil. No one's going in there and jumping. You'd think any team involved in relegation would find 40 mil and go and get him, but then he might not want to go to a club like that anyway. So I don't know about Larson. I haven't seen much of him. That much of him.
Who's this?
Strand Larson.
Strand Larson.
Yeah. From
I mean, he's playing for Wolves. It's really hard to it's hard to gauge with a team that is so poor. You know how well he's not probably getting the service. He's not getting the ball probably all that much. You know, the team is losing most of their games. So I guess it's something of a reflection on Strand Larson, but he's just one person.
Yeah.
So
Steve, Jonathan David's come back on the radar again. Juventus' skin. Right.
Yep.
He's done all right there, actually. He's done all right there. But,
probably not to the level of as he played last year in the French First Division. But that being said, it was
Lille, wasn't he? He was at Lille, I think.
Yeah, he was with Lille. And it, it was a little bit of a step up going from Lille to a big club that is, that is Juventus. And, he didn't necessarily hit the ground running for Juve. But that being said, he's still a legit player. And you wonder whether or not he's going to be able to make another big jump going from Juve to the Premier League. But that being said, he's got the right attitude. That's one of the things that I like about him is he's just one of those guys who doesn't allow himself to get overwhelmed, and he certainly doesn't allow himself to quit. And that's the reputation that he has. So from that standpoint, I guess the question is how much, how much would it take to get him out of Juve?
I mean, when I first watched him a few seasons ago, I thought it was crap, just a tap-in merchant. But his stats and he's developed he has developed. I'm still not sure. Alan, are you a fan of Jonathan David?
He's okay. I think the Canadian team overall has gotten better.
You've seen. Yeah, I was going to say, don't lie. You've seen the Canadian national team play. That dude scores goals on the national level.
Yeah, as I was saying, the Canadian team in general has gotten a lot better over the last couple of years. They've finally got some really good players, and Jonathan David is a good player. I don't know that I don't know if he's the right fit or not. I don't know. Can he make something of nothing like Harry Kane? Because unfortunately, we don't give a lot of service or good service to our strikers. And Harry Kane had to manufacture a lot of goals on his own. So I don't know if Jonathan David is that kind of player.
The other thing to consider is like when you look at some of these targets, they really don't fit Thomas Frank and the style that he wants to play. And that, first and foremost, that's my first red flag. But I think Paul Pablo here in the chat actually kind of summed up my thought to the point where it's like, if you're going for a striker that relies on service in order to be to be actually effective, if you're going for a striker that's already on the team, that's already in that situation, and now you're bringing him into another team that currently has that situation, and it doesn't look like it's going to end, you're almost doing yourself a disservice. I think we all thought that Randall Kolo Muani was probably going to come good, and then he didn't. Because he has to, you have to play a certain specific style for certain strikers. The days of having a guy like Harry Kane where it didn't necessarily matter because he's going to be able to pretty much be effective wherever, those days are long gone. And so I guess my biggest issue is like, when it comes to it, you would think that Johan Lang and Paratici should be looking at targets on teams that kind of play the similar style or the principles of the way that Thomas Frank wants to play. And it's like, I'm looking at all these targets and I'm like, I don't necessarily know if these players are necessarily for Frank specifically. You know what I mean?
I don't know who is for Frank, to be honest, in general, the way we've been playing.
Right. What do you know about Götze at Ajax?
Mika Götze?
Yeah.
Isn't he a defender?
No.
Oh. No,
and I don't know anything about him.
I watch a lot of PSV, not necessarily Ajax, but I do like the Eredivisie.
Okay, Mika Götze. The reason I mention him and why the stories around him might soon start to grow exponentially. One, he's a Belgian 20-year-old winger, 8 goals and 6 assists in 16 games. Also, what's intriguing about this is at Ajax.
Okay, he's at Ajax.
Hettinger was his coach. He was also Kudus' coach at Ajax as well.
Heitinga was Kudus' coach.
Heitinga, yeah. And Götze. We were linked with Götze before. The next Eden Hazard, they say. Belgium, right. So it depends on whether Heitinga gives Frank and the others a rave review on Götze or not.
He's young. He's only 20.
He's 20, yeah. 8 goals and 6 assists in 16 games is impressive, though.
Yeah.
But it is the Eredivisie again, you know, so it's always a risk. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the stories around him gain gravitas because Heitinga's with us. So it's just one to watch out. The last two are goalkeepers. One's a Serbian, I think one's Ukrainian or something. If we do go for another goalkeeper, it'll be in the summer one. It won't be now. We've got other priorities, holes to fill, haven't we?
Right.
Although that is something that I think we need to keep our finger on the pulse for, because I think we're seeing, I think we're seeing sort of a dip, an uncomfortable dip in Vic's performances.
Right. So I'd be happy with any of the top 4 on this list: Tazolas, Aklush, Ademi, Brahim Diaz. No, I haven't. Oscar Bob, no. Walton, yes, would definitely take.
Oscar Bob is injured, so I don't know. You know, buying him now would be buying an injured.
Savino's injured as well, so like, and Marmoush doesn't want to go on loan abroad. He wants to go on loan, so there is a possibility he could come to us on loan, but that's not a deal to me. Get the winger in then as well.
Right.
But
so if we ended up with Saeed El Mala and a guy like Karim Adeyemi for the rest of this window, paired with Conor Gallagher and Souza, that would be a hell of a window. Me personally, I think out of all of them that have the best upside is probably El Mala. And that's not disrespecting guys like Adeyemi and Aklush. Those guys are phenomenal, and they're probably going to, you know, in the right circumstance, can probably develop to play at a high level. But that El Mala kid.
And the thing is, going back to Enoch again, these players, I mean, Tazolas reckons he wants to go at a top club, but he's with Bruges. So any out of the Belgium league and the Premier League is an improvement for him anyway. Aklush, Ademi, Brahim Diaz, I mean, like, they're all just below the elite level, like Conor Gallagher is. Well, Diaz is done more at Madrid and smashing it for Morocco in the tournament. So, and as you say, El Mala as well. Obviously, Walton, that's not happening, and I don't see him moving. I think we're going to keep talking. We may he might be our only signing in the summer, and I would take that. I'm sure we all would. Right. The others, Götze, that would have to be on recommendation of Heitinga from me, because I think the others up front are more proven on my eye anyway. I mean, like the top 4 and I'm like, you know. So that's where we think. I mean, I'm going to keep everyone posted. I mean, we've got plenty of time. I mean, actually, for those of you who don't know that watching, there's 75 of you watching on various platforms. The transfer window doesn't close till February the 2nd at 7 p.m. UK time, 1900 in new money, right? 1900. So there is over half the window to go. So we should have already had plenty of talks. And if agents or players don't want to come, thank you, we move on. We should be moving on straight away. That's why I think we've moved on from Diomande, we've moved on from Nathaniel Brown, simply because these players have said no. And we only want players that want to play at the Spurs. Forget about what competitions we're in. If you want to play at the Spurs, then we may be interested in you. Right. let's move on. Preview West Ham. Injury woes. Richarlison, Kudus, Bentancur, Madison, Kulusevski, and Sars at AFCON. So we can safely say that Bergval's fit now, because Frank did mention him in his press conference, said he's available. But I don't
It'd
think...
be interesting to see exactly what type of minutes restrictions he's on. Yeah.
So Udogie's fit. I mean, Solanke's fit.
Dragishin is fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, predicted lineup. I think we can safely say Vicario being goal.
Yep.
I think we can safely say that VDV and Romero are going to be centre backs.
Yep.
So who's playing at left back and right back then?
For me, I actually think that maybe Ben Davis might get another nod at the left back position. I think it's just a little bit of a different, attacking feel when he's there, and he's actually played pretty well in the 2 starts that he had at the left back position. I think he brings it's weird to say this, but he also seems to bring a little bit of an energy to that back line as well too. This also for me might be an opportunity to give Pedro Porro a rest. The player that never seems to get dropped from the lineup. This actually might be an opportune time considering the schedule coming ahead. This could be a situation where maybe you sit him for 80 minutes, and if you want to bring him on late, you possibly can if you're chasing a goal. But this might be a good opportunity for a guy like Jed Spence to get some time on the right.
Alan, fullback.
I could see giving Pedro Porro a rest, so you'd have Spence on the right, and then maybe you have Romero. I could see even putting in either Dragishin or Danzo and then pushing Van de Ven out to the left. He likes it over on the left.
I can't see that.
I could see, with a team like West Ham, I could see us mixing it up a little more because this is a team we really should be able to beat without breaking too much of a sweat.
Well, I don't. It sounds good, Alan. It sounds good.
I mean, you know what I mean. In practice, it is another thing, but on paper, we should be able to beat them.
And then also when you consider it's West Ham, and again, no disrespect to West Ham, this is also a situation where if you do play a Ben Davis, you can also bring on Destiny Udogie for 20 minutes at the end so he can actually start getting match fit. That type of situation. Yeah.
Well, if you're on the bench, you're fit. That's why I'm starting you, Dougie.
Well,
and I'm playing
as far as playing a full right.
And I'll go into it more tactically later. Reason why I think we should do that. He hasn't started a game, so it probably is more likely to be on the bench. But I'm going to say that Udogie will start because he's fresh, and Porro on the right for his attacking impetus. Okay. Midfield 3, Alan, come on.
It's going to be Xavi, probably Conor Gallagher, and probably Archie Gray.
Yeah, no Basuma. So
not to start.
Steve?
Polinia, Gallagher, and Xavi. Those are the 3 that I want to see first.
Polina's injured.
Oh, is he really? Okay. When did that happen? Yesterday?
Well, I heard today, and I think David Clark here mentioned it as well. So he might have had a knock in training.
All right, fair enough. Then Archie Gray.
Yeah, me the same with those 3. Yeah.
So,
front 3, Steve.
The unenviable talent.
Front 3. So as of right now, it has to be Tell on the left, Odebear on the right, and Rando Colomwani up top. And then from that standpoint, this is probably another opportunity where you can bring Dominic Solanke off the bench to, for 20, 25 minutes, something like that, as you're building him up to, a full 90. So from that standpoint, as far as like attackers go, those are the 3 best attackers we have right now. And so obviously they're going to have to play.
Alan?
Steve, which 3 did you say? You said
Tell on the
Tell,
left.
Odebear,
and
and
more.
Moani.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell
I
on
think
the
that's-
left, Odebear on the right.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
Tell's
think
in,
we're going to wind up
Tell's
like
in
that.
good form, I think. Odeberg is approaching, got a nice goal, didn't he, against Villa? They both play so well for the French under-21s. Yeah, I'm going with those three as well. Now, how do you think Frank has to play attack minded because he knows that the fans demand it now, right? That's why I went with Porro and Udogie, because Udogie gives us much more down the left.
Porro's just been so poor. I think his crossing has been very poor as of late. Jed Spence doesn't do a lot of that.
Right.
I mean, I predicted a 5-0 win for Spurs, but I mean,
really?
probably, yeah, I'm serious, because I think we get an early goal that will rip them to pieces. And there is, I'll go into it, but like, Alan, how do you think West Ham will approach this game?
I think they're going to be very physical with us. First and foremost, I think they will be super physical to try to physically dominate us, intimidate our players. It's how they usually play against us, and unfortunately, oftentimes we kind of wilt a little bit, So I'm very upset that Palhinha is not available, because Palhinha would be the right kind of player to deal with a very physical midfield. I think that the other three aren't as physical. Archie Gray, I think, can kind of trade it a bit, but he could get physically dominated by someone with more experience. That's if Lucas Paqueta is playing, which I don't know that he is playing.
I don't think he's in the right mood to play, but they might be desperate enough to play him anyway.
Yeah, because they had a.
He's down tools, isn't he? He wants out. He's down tools. Do you really want to place? I mean, then if it backfires, the fan base will be on Nuno again. Oh well, you know you don't want to play for us anymore. Why'd you pick him? So you'll have that. How do you think West Ham will, play against us, Steve? Tactically,
well, considering this is the El Saco, both of these clubs are desperately in a need for a win. I actually think that what we're going to see is West Ham absolutely try to press the shit out of us, and we're going to have to be in a position to react, because I mean that is the playbook on how to beat Spurs at the Lane is to press high, create turnovers, and the way that West Ham likes to play on the counterattack. They're probably going to be in a position. They're probably going to play the same way that Fulham played us at the stadium as well too. And so from that standpoint, we're going to have to be able to play out of pressure. And it's not something that this team does well. But that being said, it's West Ham. And so my instinct is to say that Spurs are going to win. But again, how are we going to take advantage of our counterattacking opportunities? Are we going to be fast, or are we going to slow things down and be at boring Tottenham? One of the things that we have to absolutely do is put together a full 90. This is something that has been absolutely pissing me off lately. The fact that we're Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and this isn't just a one-off. We've kind of been this way since November, where we're in a situation where we're trying to react to a loss, and then Thomas Frank will have us on the front foot for the first 25 minutes, and maybe we'll nick a goal, and then after that he's going to settle us back down and reel us back in, and then we're going to have a second half of an XG of like 0.01 or something.
I don't think they have the quality to press us, to be honest.
They're going to try. They're going to try.
They have some damning stats. It says here that they've lost all 6 of their London derbies this season, and they're winless in their last 10 Premier League games. But we could, we see that stat, and Dr. Tottenham shows up and is like, well, let's fix that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but okay, consider this, because I'll give this some thought. They are 7 points adrift for Nottingham Forest, who are 4th from bottom.
Okay.
Draw's no good to them. They need to win.
That's exactly right.
They have to attack us. I don't think they'll press us.
No.
The reason I went for 5-0, I think we'll get space in this game. We'll get space, and we're better. We've got better players than they've got, right? All across the pitch, we got better. Bowen's good for them. The others, nah. Their defense is crap this year. They can't defend. I think they've conceded more goals from set pieces than the other team, right? Which is bad enough without conceding from open play. And we just at their place, they sort of try to get us. They try to press us, but gradually, with teams like that, we gradually got on top, and then we sort of like dominated and blew them away. And I see the same happening tomorrow. I really do think that if we get an early goal, we will take them to the cleaners. And we do a performance at home as well. And the record's pretty. I mean, I think our record against West Ham is about the third best in the Premier League, or whatever. I think it's Everton, Man City, and West Ham. And the last 20 games, I think we've won 8. This is home and away. We've won 8, drawn 8, and lost 4. And the last 10, I mean, won 5, drawn 3, and lost 2. They rarely get any joy at White Lane. I'm not saying like Dr. Tottenham won't see them, but they just don't. I mean, and I just think, I mean, they were the first team to beat us in the stadium when Antonio scored, but I was there. But I just think we're going to find a lot of space tomorrow, unless like they try and sit back for the first half, Nuno style, and try and hit us on the counter, and then if it was level with about 20 minutes to go, try to have a go and nick the win. I mean, they need a win. They really need the win. They're 7 points behind fourth.
Yeah. Correct. I just don't think they have the defense to do what Nuno wants.
I think their defense is crap.
Yeah.
The centre back's rubbish.
You know what's interesting is like I don't necessarily care about necessarily what they're going to do. It's like when I look at this, there's two things that have to happen. Like number one, if you're absolutely right about this, Adrian, and we're going to have space, then we're going to have to capitalize on it because we concede good areas all the time. We do. We like, you know, there's going to be soft areas where we can play balls in and we concede it all the time. And so from that standpoint, it's like if there's space, we have to take advantage of it because we don't score a lot of goals from the run of play. And the other thing is like if we do happen to be fortunate to actually get a couple goals, we have to keep our foot on the gas and put a team to the sword. We have yet to proper batter somebody this season, right? It's just for what it like. We know the reasons, but those are like the two areas that really concern me the most because you know, we've had matches where we feel like we're the better team, and for whatever reason we lose to a Bournemouth team that hadn't won a game since October. You know, like against Sunderland at home, where we actually looked pretty good in the first half. We took our foot off the gas, trying to, acting like a 1-0 lead was good enough. You know what I mean? And from that standpoint, like we've dropped so many points from winning positions that even in a match like this, I'm like, we know that it can go wrong in a hurry here. So from that standpoint, it's like if we're able to nick a goal, we have to be able to double that up before the end of the first half. Like we absolutely have to keep our foot on the gas in order to put this team away.
I just think we're going to find a lot of space, and I just think this could be sort of a godsend for Tel and Odebert. I think they could.
And Xavi.
And Xavi as well.
And
I mean,
Xavi.
I think they could just absolutely tear them to pieces. Yeah, I don't think it'd be a West Ham next season though. Not if they get relegated. Might end up playing for us. You never know. But by then, I think we'll have all our targets set. So I don't know how old Bowen is now. He's 28. Is he about that age? I don't know.
Bowen is 29.
Yeah.
But he's got a value of like 55 million. Wow, really?
Not a 29. Well, no, maybe 45 to 50. Yeah, so right.
They've allowed 12 goals from corners.
Mm-hmm. So give us your predicted scores in the chat. Destiny's going 3-0. Good for you. You're from my positive camp. So someone says I'd rather buy Matoma. First goal is massive. Not really. Only if it's us. I mean, if they score first, I still think we can put 4 or 5 past them, so it doesn't really matter. I ain't doing a score. I need to see. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, like Kudus didn't like playing over on the left, did he?
No.
I said that yesterday, Carls. I said Moani hat trick and so on Odebert. That's what I said, just for fun. Right, let's have a little look at. Right, there's 77 of you viewing us on various platforms. If you're on XCOM and other platforms, TikTok, please come over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel and give the video a thumbs up because it helps the algorithm. I mean, EMF will be doing a post-match West Ham show Sunday at 8 o'clock UK time, 2000 that is. So I'm sure we'll be celebrating a win. But before we go, I want to go through. I done a banner for February. Don't want to frighten you all to death. So, looking at this, we have West Ham at home. Then we have Dortmund when we meet that winger that we might be buying. And then we've got Burnley away. Surely we've got to look at 6 points on West Ham and Burnley, Alan.
Between West Ham and Burnley? Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We should get points from Dortmund.
Well, that would get us through to the playoffs. If we beat Dortmund, we're through, right? If we beat Dortmund and Frankfurt the last game, which we've beaten Frankfurt the last 3 times. We only played them 3 times in Europe. We've beaten them every time.
Yeah. If, arguably a better team before.
Then we would finish in the top 8 and not have to have a playoff match against 2 teams, 2 extra fixtures. So then we got Man City. Well, that's easy, 3 points because we always beat them. And then
we do.
Then we got Man United away. Well, Man United haven't beaten us for the last 8 games we've played them. You wouldn't write that down in history. Years ago, it was never like that, right? But 8 times they haven't beaten us. I mean, basically, Manchester's white, isn't it? Because with Man City and Man United, we keep beating them.
Yep. Well,
then we got Newcastle at home. They'll be difficult. And then we got Arsenal at home. They'll be difficult. But I expect us to get 6 points against West Ham and Burnley. And I expect us to beat Dortmund and Frankfurt.
It'll be interesting against Arsenal. I think everyone will be in our corner hoping we take points off of Arsenal.
Well,
I will say that the matches on the road are in play because for whatever reason we just inexplicably seem to have good road form. So, Burnley, Frankfurt, and Manchester United, I would probably be a little bit more inclined to favor us. But that being said, at home, for whatever reason, we have 2 left feet. We can't help but trip over ourselves at the lane. So from that standpoint, after Frankfurt, that schedule is horrid. But I will say that I will be in London for the North London Derby on the 22nd. So just me being in the stadium is going to be enough.
Is that your first visit? Is that your first visit?
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say
that. I mean, you get fans that look ahead. You get Spurs fans that look ahead. They always look too far ahead, And they go, oh, yeah, we got to play Man City and Man United and Newcastle and Arsenal. That. Hang on, though. If you beat West Ham, you got 3 points. It's a lift. If you then beat Dortmund, confidence increased. You beat Burnley away. Suddenly, you're very confident going at the Frankfurt away game. You beat them. Now you're thinking you're going to beat anyone. Man City, we always beat them. You're thinking you're going to win all the games then because you've built momentum and confidence, and that's what we've got to do with these next 4 games.
It is important because it's the lull in our schedule.
Yeah, and then we'll see. Mind you, by I think it's February the 5th. That we have to register a Champions League. We can change 3 players. I think it's
Conor Gallagher will definitely be involved in that next.
But he's homegrown anyway, so he's not an issue. His home ground is not an issue. Like I say, we'll only have a squad of 22, but then you've got the under-21 list to add to that, so it's not a problem. But
yeah, I don't think it'd be a problem either.
The only problem is you can only have 17 foreign players.
Okay.
So if we bring in foreigners, they're going to want guarantee of Champions League. So you could see Odebert being dropped out of that squad.
Mattel.
Tell's only coming because that 60-day injury rule with Solanke.
Yep.
So, yeah. Right, I'll have a little look at the chat. But, guys, those of you watching us on playback and that, get over to Team Tottenham Go, Alan's channel there, and also get over to at Stateside Footy for Steve. He does a lot of content over there, covers everything, all sports as well.
Busy guy.
Busy guy. A busy guy.
Busy guy.
So let's see what we got comments in the chat.
I don't know, Alan. Like this next stretch of 8. I don't know. I don't necessarily know how I feel about this one. Just considering that I'm not really too optimistic for tomorrow at all. Yes, we should absolutely play them off the park. But that being said, I'm just not necessarily confident. I don't think we're going to get that. I don't think we're going to beat Dortmund. I think like the wins that I see on this list are probably going to be Burnley, Frankfurt, and maybe a draw against United away. But Man City, Newcastle, Arsenal, not at all. I don't mean to be the Debbie Downer. I just look at this and I'm like, I don't know how we're going to navigate it.
Well, I mean, it depends on our form going into those games. I think we're going to thrash West Ham personally. I think we'll play them off the park. I can even see them having players sent off. Normally when you're down there and people get feisty when decisions don't go and then someone has a strop and gets sent off or something, I could see that happening to a West Ham player. They got an inexperienced midfield if Paqueta isn't amongst them. Like I say, the back four. I mean, we should just go for them hell for leather, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see Thomas Frank take the handbrake off and let these players play up to their ability. But Thomas Frank to me is an anomaly. That's the X factor here as our coach, and whether or not he's actually going to do that. So
I see Gray playing deep line like he did behind Paulinho, and Conor Gallagher will be the link we're missing in midfield to link it up with Moani and that. To link up with Moani and Xavi. And that clicks, and West Ham are going to get battered.
I would love to see it. I hope you're right, Adrian. I really do.
Me too.
But one of my biggest fears is that that double pivot's going to play like Betancourt and Polina, where they're going to be so withdrawn that there's no I would be chemistry.
Yeah, I would be disappointed if Frank adopted the conservative attitude, which I think he's at risk if he does that in front of the home fans. Yeah. If he sort of went, right, okay, West Ham are that desperate, they need 3 points. We'll sort of like hit them on the break. I mean, you're talking about we're playing at home. We should be going hell for no matter who we're playing. We should have a style of football like we had in past decades where we didn't worry about the opposition. We just went out and played. And if we attacked, and if we won, we won. If we drew, or if we lost, we lost. But we went for it. We always went for it.
Yeah, but and that was and I believe going into that match against Villa in the FA Cup, I think we were saying the exact same thing. Just have a go, have a good proper go, and just let the chips fall how they land. And then we saw the way that we got off on that game. You know what I mean? We concede 2 before the half, and it's essentially over. And so that's my biggest fear, is that we're either going to start quick and then take our foot off the gas, or we're going to start the same way we started against Villa. And that's my biggest fear, because I don't know if Thomas Frank is comfortable doing that.
Well, the end of January is going to be interesting for two reasons. One, see if we get the results that we will want to see. And two, to see what we're doing in what we got 16 days left in the window. It's plenty of time to get a couple of signings in. There's no excuse from ENIC, because there are players that are available. And I mean, I think all Spurs fans, after that springboard of bringing two in, are expecting at least one more. I'm greedy. I'm expecting two. So I think two would be nice. Best January window if they're the sort of elite or semi-elite, because a few of those on that list were like I'd say Brahim is sort of bordering elite. So yeah.
No, there's definitely talent out there to be had.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
There's no excuse for not bringing. I mean, and it's not that they're gettable. I mean, you know, Akalush and Ademiji, they're gettable.
Yeah.
You know, Tzolos said he wants to go to a bigger club. Brahim Diaz, would he come to Spurs from Madrid? You know, and others.
I feel like Akalush is probably going to be that guy, because it seems like there's a lot of
I hope so.
There's a lot of smoke to that fire. And I think it's somebody that they absolutely rate, which would be a good guess. But I would probably say that if they do bring in somebody else after that, a big part of me thinks that they're going to try and push hard to get a guy like Omar Mamouche from City.
On loan, yeah. He'd take a loan, but he doesn't want to leave the Premier League, apparently. Right, guys, let's wrap this up. Like I say, I want to thank my guests. I'm going to put links up to them again. This is Alan at Team Tottenham Go. If you're watching on playback or watching, get over there and subscribe to the channel. This is Steve at Stateside Footy. A lot of good content over there. Get over there. And don't forget to get over to the YouTube Spurs Diehards channel and subscribe to us and give this video a thumbs up, because it helps the algorithm. We bring all this stuff to you for nothing. There's no excuse. There's 75 of you viewing us now on various platforms. Only takes a second. Yeah, don't be lazy. And as always, guys, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Get better, Kulu.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die. Hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die. Hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die. Hearts, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue.